AJ Wahl on their Pugmills or vacuum extruders use a sealing grid to help de-air the clay. As the clay comes from the mixer, it's forced through into ribbons through the sealing grid. Inside the vacuum chamber, a chopper comes and it cuts those ribbons into small pieces for de-airing. So while the clay's under vacuum, the smaller the pieces, potentially, the better that it's exposed to vacuum and the better de-aired your clay is. So this chopper's rotating on your auger shaft. It cuts those into small pieces, exposes them to vacuum, and then the clay is pushed out by these choppers into your augers, into a tapered auger and out your barrel. Over time, as your mixer pushes clay through the sealing grid, this metal will wear away and it will need to be replaced. As part of regular maintenance, you should check this sealing grid, make sure that it is not wearing all the way through. If it wears all the way through, you will not be cutting that clay into the ribbons to get de-aired that you need to. Replacing the sealing grid will require that you remove both covers, so that you have a top cover and a bottom cover on your vacuum chamber. Normally they look like this, and so you remove these bolts. There will be silicone holding this on, and then you'll pull the cover away. Some of the vacuum chambers will have studs instead of tapped holes, and so you will work that plate off of those studs, and you will have to dig this out. This will all be full of clay from your mixer. You'll have to dig this out and expose the bolts on the top, and there's one on the bottom as well. Removing the sealing grid can actually be tricky. You'll notice that where the cover goes, there's some bumps, and they're actually too large for the sealing grid to clear to come out. So you have to stay inside of those bumps and work that sealing grid out from around the choppers and remove it. When you're installing the sealing grid, you do not want to snug these bolts up all the way. You want to leave them a little bit loose, and the reason for that is the sealing grid can be tilted. It can be shifted so that one side looks good, but the other side, there we go, I can duplicate it. The other side could actually interfere with choppers. So if that sealing grid is in at an angle, what you'll find is the chopper may actually hit that sealing grid. We don't want that. So while you are installing your sealing grid, you'll want to feel and make sure that you're even on the top and the bottom with alignment before you snug up on these bolts. And as you snug up on those bolts, you may find that it wants to move. So after you got it all tightened up, double check, run your hand on the inside of the vacuum chamber, and make sure that you're not, you don't have any interference, any of this sealing grid where the choppers can hit it. After that's all tightened up, you'll clean this surface off, you'll re-silicone, reinstall the top and the bottom plate, and you are good to go.